So we're moving from Jeopardy to Trivial Pursuit. And the topic is sports and leisure. This item that is put together is made by Lego. And your optional choices for the largest Lego set would be 11,695 pieces or 551,232 pieces. Go. All right, show of hands. The 11,000, and then the 551 plus thousand. Well, if you ask my godson and his brother, who are Lego experts, it is 11,695. That is the Lego Art World Map. That's the largest Lego set you can put together. And I'll be corrected, I'm sure, if I'm wrong, but that was the latest stat I looked up. The largest jigsaw puzzle. Remember jigsaw puzzles? Pieces all flat, beautiful picture when you're finally done. Flip it over and it's all like cardboard. It's all the same. That was 551,232 pieces put together as a world record in Vietnam at the University of Economics back in case you looked it up, September of 2011. And I wondered, all right, so we enjoy a challenge, do we not? Of course we do. As long as we can meet the challenge and achieve the goal. When it becomes unachievable, then we give up. It's too difficult, it's too hard, it's too boring. Too boring. Then how does that equate to our life of prayer? Jesus says, be persistent in your prayer, in your conversation with God. Don't let it be hit and miss or occasional or simply once a week. Let it be ongoing, as if you spoke to a family member every single day. Constantly, back and forth, interchange, dialogue. And he gives the parable, the example of the widow and the unjust judge. One who has no fear of God and really cares less unless he has his palm greased and gets what he wants. Then he'll render a judgment for you. But she's persistent in asking. And he knows at the very end run, if he does not go out of his way to render a just and fair decision, then problems may loom for him farther down the line. Now, Merriam-Webster shows persistence as a noun. Person, place, or thing. Well, maybe a thing, but I kind of say, well, descriptive adjective maybe. But in the life of faith, persistence is a verb. It is an action, not a thing. It's a motivational aspect of who we are as the followers of Christ. Being persistent. Merriam-Webster says, that's defined as continued effort to do or achieve something, despite the difficulties, failure, or opposition. So the question is, how persistent are we in the life of faith? Well, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and God just did not answer me, or answer me the way I wanted, or answer in the time frame I wanted. Where's your persistence of faith? Remember, time, as far as the delineation, 24/7, seconds, minutes, hours, days of the week, days of the month, months of the year. That's our distinction. That is man's distinction, not God. And God does not work on our time schedule. And so be persistent in your faith. Just because it's difficult or you feel that God has failed you, get over it, because God is still there. God hears the cry of the poor. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of God. God hears us all the time. God walks every step of the journey with us. Do you think God is deaf? So what's more intriguing? A puzzle with over 500,000 pieces, that's a challenge. But then again, ask my godson and his brother. If we get a big old Lego set, and they're about that big sometimes, at Christmas, the rest of the time is 24/7, just Lego, 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 until it's finished. Why can we not be that persistent in our prayer, in our faith life, in how we live as followers of Christ? Just because it's not that challenging? Oh, it's challenging. The challenge of being a follower of Christ is not easy. Maybe it's too boring. There's all the pieces, but it's just a flat thing. There was a world record, and that's, of course, I don't have 48 feet by 75 feet or 76 feet to put this together. So I'll do something easier. Well, trust me, one who does not put Legos together would find it a great challenge to put even an 11,000 plus piece Lego set together. And if I were given the task, I would keep at it. God expects nothing less of us in the life of faith and our persistence in prayer. Are we listening? And I don't just mean the Lord's Prayer, the Hail Mary, and the Glory Be. Those are awesome springboards to conversation with God. I mean connected mind, heart, spirit, and soul, one-on-one. As if when you got up and went to the breakfast table, God is sitting right there. God is that present, and yet we ignore him. What's it going to take for us to live our faith? The answer's here, in the depths of our hearts. The challenge is here, in the depths of our lives. But yet the challenge is also around us. Christians have been challenged for millennia, thousands of years, to be the voice of Christ, to be the compassion of Christ. St. Paul reminds us sometimes the challenge that Christ offers to the world. We have many challenges here in our lives. In this state, in fact, when you're called to vote on Proposition 1, do you know what it's about? Do you know the consequences? Do you know the ramifications? If you don't, and you're of voting age, get with it. Because this is where Christ must speak in this state to the unjust judge and speak loudly in the vote. You must be Christ in the world more often than you are yourself in the world. Otherwise, you haven't really accepted the challenge of faith. You don't really understand what it is to be a follower of Christ. It's nothing convenient. Being a Christian is never convenient. It's always challenging. The problem is when the world tells us, oh, that Christian stuff is boring. Really? Well, then perhaps you don't really understand the depth and the meaning of what Christ is for us. For the first 12 who were called, for thousands of generations, what Christ means and always will mean to us. At the end of the gospel, Christ wonders. At the end of time, when the Son of Man returns, will he find any faith on the earth? I think so. But the faith comes from the ones who follow. Comes from their hearts, their minds, their spirits, and their souls. Because we believe, because we accept the challenge, because we speak in the name of Christ, because we offer healing, hope, and compassion, the Lord will find faith. Perhaps not a lot of it, perhaps not too many hearts, but he will find faith. Let us make sure there are many hearts that believe. Let us hand on the faith to those who have yet to really understand it or comprehend it, to those who will just give up because it's too challenging. Let us be that voice of encouragement, the heart of love, Christ himself.